Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Greg Gomez, the third founder, CEO, MLMBusinessBlueprint.com and 100KMLM.com. Just in case you forgot, I actually put that page out many moons ago, back in 2003, 2004, somewhere in that ballpark. And I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. You know, I've been bombarding you with emails trying to get support for the No Excuses Summit 3 that's coming up here in April. And just like the picture says, yo, Adrian, we did it, sort of. So I just wanted to give you a quick update here and talk to you about how I completely blew this thing. How I was able to do something that literally had all kinds of challenges, all kinds of issues, all kinds of grief, strife, and struggle to be able to accomplish a few things while we were going along here. But despite all of those challenges, we were able to do some pretty fantastic things. In case you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, today's marketing lesson's all about how to persevere and push through and go through several different challenges in order to accomplish a goal that you want to get. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not big on self-promotion. For years, I was quietly happy just being the guy in the background that when people found me, discovered me, saw my material, were hooked, and have lifetime clients as a result of it. That's the way I've built my business model over the last 9 years online, and it's served me extremely well. However, one of the things I realized when I took a break back in 2008, actually, I took 2 years off, and I didn't come back until about 2010. Well, an interesting thing happened. All of these new kids, these punk, snot-nosed kids that were coming up when I was leaving at the top of my game, I had a son, my final son, as many of you know who don't, or those who don't know my story, I had a son, and I decided to stay home with him for a 2-year time frame. Best decision of my life, loved it. I was just supporting the people that I had in place for my business at that time that came through my organizations prior to that, and I just fulfilled for them, and life was good. Well, when I was just about to retire, a lot of these snot-nosed punk kids like Jonathan Budd and Ray and Fernie and MLSP and all of these other little offshoots of Mike Dillard and the Magnetic Sponsoring Program were just starting to come onto the scene. And you know, I didn't really pay much attention to them because I've seen literally, guys, hundreds of people claim to have the solutions and magic answers to home business stress over my long career, and I've seen them come and go, and very few of them had the tenacity or the skill set really to be able to stick around and really establish long-term value. And as typical things that I'd seen prior to that, I didn't expect any different. Boy, was I wrong, right? I come back 2 years later after retiring, or coming back out of that retirement. My son started going to school. I got the itch again to start working and start taking on new clients, start impacting the industry again. And I look around now, and all these kids that were coming up when I was leaving are now running the joint. I mean, you got Ray and Fernie out of No Excuses, and obviously their event's coming up here in April. And then we have Jonathan Budd, of course, who when I first saw his videos, I thought, man, who is this clown? And now he's one of the biggest, most effective marketers out there, not only in our industry, but transcending that and putting together $1 billion business is one of the goals he's working on right now. Jonathan, if you're watching this, brother, I'm excited for what you're doing, man. Go get him. Dagan Smith. It runs the gambit. I mean, there's so many others. Tracy Walker and all of the MLSP group, Norbert Orlowitz, Brian Finelli, Todd Schlomer. You just got them on and on and on. Tons and tons and tons of great folks. However, when I came back, nobody knew who the heck I was. So a couple years ago, I went to this event called the No Excuses event. And what I wound up doing was I made a decision at that time that, it's great for me to be as successful and have all the great revenue that I have been, but I really don't have the opportunity to impact as many people's lives because I'm not networked. Here I am teaching people how to do network marketing, and for my case, I'm not networked. I wasn't plugged in. I wasn't connecting with folks. I wasn't really leveraging, what I knew with other folks. And here's the mistake. Here's the big thing that I messed up during that time frame. What I tried to do, and what I did well for years, was I was an island unto myself. I didn't need anybody else's training because I was good at most of it all. I had sales, marketing, lead generation, copywriting, traffic generation, conversion, online conversion, webinar hosting, sales presentation, training, on and on and on. Recruiting, of course, retention, product sales. You can do it all. I could do all that stuff. Unfortunately, the challenge was for me to produce content at a pace that my market was looking for. It was really impossible for me to do all of that, plus coach and do everything else that I was capable of doing. So my solution to that was, well, I just charge premium fees, and those that can pay it, came into it, and those that didn't got my free stuff, which I get often commented that my free stuff is better than many paid programs that are out there. Cool, I appreciate that if you're one of those folks that believes that. Lots of success stories from just the free stuff. However, when I came back after my mini retirement, I didn't have any recognition. Nobody knew who I was except for some of the older guys. When I introduced myself to Jonathan Budd, he looked at me kind of waywardly and said, yeah, I know who you are. I met Brian or Norbert Orlowitz at No Excuses, the first one, and I shook his hand and says, yeah, I've been through your funnel. I know who you are. And as I'm talking to other folks, though, Jeff Mitchell, it comes up to me, lots of people that I hadn't ever met before, who'd never voiced, never commented, never emailed. And they're like, wow, it's really great to meet you. So I had a few folks that knew who I was, pretty big names who knew who I was. But, for a majority, most folks had no clue who I was, who'd ever come in the last couple of years, over 2 or 3 years, which we know in this marketplace, that's a lot of people. So I realized my big mistake, and here it is. I didn't do enough to connect with other folks to protect my market share and to protect my brand and to, more importantly than all of that, protect my message to be able to go out there and help folks get as much impact as they possibly could. Forget the money, forget the fame, all that other stuff that goes along with it. I'm not a fame chaser. What I am, though, is someone who has a message that I find very powerful to help marketers over my career. However, that's restricted in the amount of effectiveness it can have unless I have other people that are in my corner networking with me that I can leverage their lists and my lists and our trusted advisor status in our prospects' minds or in our database's minds to be able to share that message. So, case in point, part of the whole reason I'm doing this No Excuses event is, number one, it is a great event, absolutely one of the best events that I've been to. I had so much fun when I was there the first year, missed it the second year because of some family issues, that and even a Jonathan Budd event that I'd promised I was going to be at, but I couldn't because of this family issue. I was invited to participate in a mastermind last year. I don't know if Ray and Fern even remember this, but they had a random drawing of all things, and I was actually nominated to go and have a mastermind private group, and I was really excited to be able to meet these guys last year, and I couldn't because of a family issue. As you guys well know, my family is way more important than anything else I do, so that took precedent. I was saddened by it, but it was unfortunate, and it was what it was. Bottom line is, I said this year, I'm going to go. Come hell or high water, I want to get up there. More importantly, the first year I said, at the next event, I'm going to be on stage. Well, this year comes around, and here we are. We're actually in a position to be able to do that. So we decided to go after this full guns blaring. So I wanted to show you a quick update on this, and then I'm going to get to the marketing lesson. So you can see here that they talk about the story. You can go to noexcusessummit.com. I'll have a link here below that you can go check out the post itself. The long story short is we've been nominated to go into the second round, and if you look down here, we did a couple things. The final results, Jeff Steven, great job, man. Dean Kosich, great job. Caesar is actually a Blueprint owner. He owns my Blueprint. And truth be told, he bought it as a way of connecting with me. Caesar, you did a fantastic job, my brother. I was going to kick your butt with this last minute thing we did. Unfortunately, had some technical issues and some lack of foresight on my part that kept us from being able to do that. But I'm excited to meet him. He's a really great guy. We've been chatting back and forth. We can't wait to actually start talking with him. Ray Higdon, he even beat out Ray Higdon. I think that's hilarious. Diane is absolutely probably one of the funniest marketers I've ever met in my life. Diane, you need to produce a comedy recruiting course. I mean, that would just sell like hotcakes. Tracy Walker is a sweetheart. She was actually on the webinar with us, which I'm going to talk about here in a bit. And then me. So I placed 7th overall, just behind Tracy in overall votes. And Brian and Rhonda Swan, great job. Pamela Herman. And, of course, my buddy Mark Hoverson. I was on a conference call with his last night. And he's like, we still haven't hung out. We live in Phoenix together, basically, and we still haven't hung out here. So, Mark, we got to fix that. That's something we'll have to remedy, my friend. Then Facebook likes only, Jeff Caesar. Caesar took 2nd place. Dude, you crushed it. Dean, Ray, Cherry Tree, who great. I don't even know who she is. I hadn't connected with her yet. Got to reach out to her. Diane, again, Pamela Herman actually topped me out just by a few votes there. And I took 8th place in that. So, long story short, we're in the top 10 contention for speaking at the event. If we get to go, awesome. I would love to be able to connect and meet folks and share a message with people there. I know we have a powerful message to be able to do that with. In fact, part of the thing that I had my master plan to do this was last minute. I said, you know what we're going to do? Because many of these folks that I did the webinar with were on part of a group of that I'm a part of. I buy everybody's programs, guys. You should buy everybody's programs and get value out of it and implement. That's just the way I am. It's the way I've always been. And when I see good stuff, like Dagan Smith, I think he's who didn't make the list. I'm surprised because he had a lot of plus ones. But at any rate, we're all part of his Maximum Leverage Inner Circle group. I love that group. I think it's a fantastic group. Get tons of knowledge out of it. I've made some great connections. Again, I'm buying everybody's courses so I can not only get great content, but also make great connections, which I've definitely done in the inner circle. But one of the big things with this is that I said to Dagan, I said, you know what, hey, you know what we should do is a webinar with all of your ML or your maximum leverage inner circle nominees, and let's go after this thing. You know, I saw a lot of folks who I knew added great value, weren't even close to contention in the top 10, but I wanted to just a way of networking, meeting some folks that I hadn't, that I've seen around for a while, and we did that. So I threw this thing together. We put, I mean, literally, guys, in 24-hour time frame, put together a webinar, organized the speakers, the order it was going to go in, the content we're going to be covering, our strategy for how to get votes, how to be able to get folks on the page and moving towards wherever they needed to. Long story short, in less than about a 10-hour time frame, we had 400 people registered for this webinar. Then challenges ensued. Everything was actually running beautifully smooth until we got to the point where we actually started hosting the webinar. Here's the challenges we faced. I was under the impression that the webinar that we had set up was 1,000 seats. Unfortunately, it was only 100 seats, so it filled out almost instantly. Rookie mistake, stupid thing. I don't know why that happened. I've never had that happen before, but big roadblock obstacle number one. Couldn't get everybody on there. In fact, it filled up so quickly that many of the speakers couldn't get on, right? So we had to reset the thing, set it over, and when we did that, it booted everybody off the call. Literally, everybody got ejected. You know what happened? The call filled immediately back up when we started it again, right? So we could have right then and there called it off and said, we'll have to do this later or try to figure out a different way or just given up. We didn't, right? And to Adam Holland and Kevin and Darren Blue and Vanessa Duplessis and Brenda Gagne and Tracy Walker and yours truly, you guys are all troopers for sticking around and hanging out and participating in this as much as you did. It was a fantastic deal. And they, despite all those challenges, which I'm not even close to talking about yet, it converted extremely well. Or I should say they stuck it out and we actually went through it. So that was first couple of challenges. So we decided, screw it, let's just go. Let's get everybody on here, as many as we can at a time. Those that can't be on the webinar, they can call in at least and they can listen in. So we had a lot more people listening in. Okay, challenge number two. The recordings were not working. For whatever reason, they would just stall or stop. We'd get this note that would say, there was a problem, internal server error with recording. Sorry, try again next time. It's like, what are you talking about? Try again next time. We can't do that. It doesn't work. So I was hoping that my gal, who normally records all my webinars as a backup, was on, but I couldn't see her. So again, wasn't sure what was going on with that. Next thing was, once I clicked off the recording deal and just wanted to go back to normally just recording it as an attendee on my end, the entire system crashed again. Now here's the thing, Tracy could not get on. We could not get Tracy on. Tracy, you're a trooper, sweetheart. We did everything we possibly could to get Tracy on that call, and we just couldn't do it. We were kicking people off because we had to, and she still couldn't get on. Finally, she gets on. Finally, she goes in her designated slot, and she winds up going where she's supposed to, on time and schedule, right in the middle of some of the best content in her presentation. The call dies again, guys. So think of this. The attendees are the attendance is way too. I mean, we booked this thing out. We were completely filled up. We couldn't get the seminar speakers on. The system already kicked us out. It wasn't already recording, and now we got it booted off again. Guess what happens? Everybody comes back. The thing fills up again. Now this time Tracy, because she got booted out the first time, she wasn't talking or whatever, and then she sees that she got booted. She's like, oh crud, it happened again. She had a tough time getting back on. We couldn't get her back on. So we move on with Brenda. We let her start doing her spiel and going through her process and her material. Great content from all of the presenters, by the way. And then Tracy finally gets back on. We finish up with Brenda. Tracy goes on like a trooper. She had other things she had to do. She stuck with us. Tracy, you rock. I appreciate it. Can't give her enough accolades and support because she did such a fantastic job trooping through. And enter the final challenge. The webinar was supposed to be an hour and a half long. I want to show you something here. Let's see. What did I write here? I'm on my Facebook fan page. Look, you can even see on my Facebook fan page. So we're back up, gang, with Tracy Walker. 2 more speakers to kill it tonight. Come join. A few seats are open. And at that time, a few folks had fallen off because, you know, in the East Coast, it was well after 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at that time frame. Oh, right here. So I said, my thanks and much appreciated to all those participating in tonight's colorful webinar, and most important, all the troopers that trucked over 3.5 hours. You guys rock. It was a great time. Thanks all for your time and expertise. We had so many accolades. Awesome webinar, Greg. Learned a lot. Thanks. Diane just commented on my post here. Let's see. Thanks, Michelle. Sorry for the hiccups, but we got it worked out, right? She says, no trouble at all. She was one of the people that got booted off. You gotta love technical difficulties. Voted for you. You go. Listen to you now. I'm committed. Chad, you know, this is a big shout out to you. Listen to you now. He was listening to me at that time. I said, are you truly committed? He says, I am committed. I've researched a lot and I'm betting on you. See, there were a lot of people who've never been exposed to me. A lot of my list has never been exposed to Trace. A lot of everybody else's list hadn't been exposed to each other. And this is a great way of, although it doesn't sound right, of getting myself exposed to as many different people as possible so we can help impact their lives and share our message and help them get improvements overall. Long story short, this just crushed me, and I stayed on for another hour just on Facebook answering questions and participating and just engaging with folks. Webinar was awesome. You passed along some great info where you showed that one. Hi, Greg. You were awesome tonight. Thank you very much, sir. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's hope it keeps going on the way to Vegas. Had some other ones right here. That's not what I wanted you to see. I wanted you to see this. Teresa Key. Hey, Greg, you're an objection obliterator. Thanks so much for all the value you give. It's priceless. We met last night on the webinar. Where have you been all this time? You know, again, I've been right here. Where have you been, right? Just a bunch of silliness ensues while we actually go over this. Here's the bigger problem. Because that thing filled up so quickly, look at all the responses we got on Tuesday night, starting from 7 o'clock, going all the way up. Waiting on you, waiting on you. You know, I can probably open this up and let's see what we got here. Greg, I'm on and totally excited, and my family need minimum 10K a month right away. Awesome, they got on. Stacy, one of my gals. Your Go meeting crashed my web browser. I was on there way before the event, then it told me it was canceled. So now I'm booted out because it says it's full. I'm only able to hear you on the call, so Stacy was able to listen to it. Again, more and more, I don't want to show people's email addresses here. I'm trying to keep these. Got called into work, so he couldn't make it there. Long story short, is a bunch of people that wanted to participate in the call couldn't do it. Look at this list, man. I mean, just on and on and on and on and on. It just goes and goes and goes. And people couldn't get on. All these challenges, all these issues, all these things that went on, we still wound up putting together, I think, a pretty fantastic webinar. Now, some good news. As a result of it, we've been nominated top 10. Fernie liked and dug what we were doing. In fact, on Facebook, and go back to it here. Before we go to the here's the epic tale of the tape. What do we do? I said, I made an interesting comment. Say, hey gang, get everybody and your mama on tonight's webinar. I said your mama. On webinar starting shortly. Join me, and then I listed everybody else there, tagged them all so we could get their list looking at it. Caesar, brother. Interesting. I wonder why I was left out of this webinar. Why am I sensing that I'm getting ganged up on here? He sent me a message later and says, man, I was sweating. I thought, oh crap, that's brilliant. You guys are getting everybody's together list, and if you could swing your votes towards each of you guys are going to be able to take my spot. And that was the game plan. Unfortunately, we could only get 100 people on there at a time, many of which had already voted for us. So we wound up getting a bump of about 30 to 40 votes for each one of us, which was still, you know, again, great for a short time frame, lots of connections. But here's Fernie's response. Great idea, guys, although I don't think it's enough to take down Caesar. He had some creative and powerful tactics. He recruited some big guns, and he got them to mail on his behalf. Great strategy. That was kind of our intention. By collecting all of our smaller lists, we'd have a bigger force than most other lists out there. However, I love what you guys did tonight. Adds tons of value, and that was really the purpose. If we get nominated, if I get on stage and all that other good stuff that happens, that's awesome. That's great. I'm excited about it. The real big thing here was taking these challenges, taking all these other things, and at any point I could have said, you know what, screw it, it's not working, given up, made excuses. We didn't. We just did exactly what we set out to do in the first place, and as a result, we wound up getting ourselves nominated to be able to speak, or at least they're in contention for it. They're supposed to make their decision within this next week, so I'll keep you posted on that. I didn't intend for this recording to take as long as it did, but the bottom line is I just wanted to share with you a little bit about me, you know, where I've come from, why we're doing this as much as we are. And I am a firm believer in this seminar. I believe that you should absolutely be there. You should network with other like-minded folks, and you should get mentoring and coaching from folks who have this kind of experience. You should be participating in programs that you are, you know, that stretch you, that make you outside of your comfort zone, that help you to learn more about yourself and how to become more effective. Truthfully, you guys may not believe this. You may not believe this specifically. I'm very introverted. I'm not a very outgoing type of personality. I'm very quiet. I'm very humble, and I try to be humble, you know. Although my wife says I have a hard time fitting through the door sometimes when I come off of my classes and all my students tell me, oh my goodness, you're so great, and all that stuff. She quickly sticks a pin in my inflated ego and deflates it very quickly because she's awesome. That's why I married her, to keep her real close to me and not really talk to too many people about me. But the point of this is that, you got to get outside of your comfort zone. I am an introvert. I really, I'm a very quiet guy. I like keeping to myself. When I am on, though, I do give 100%. I give as much as I possibly can. And I hope that you felt that over the course of these videos and tutorials and trainings and free tips and strategies and things that I got. So the marketing tip for today, the lesson for you for today is this. It's a very simple one. You got to understand that roadblocks, challenge, whenever you make a commitment, whenever you make a decision to do something in your life, right? Whenever you make a real heartfelt decision to go and make an impact in your career, your life, your family, your marital status, whatever it is, whatever you choose to better in your life. In my experience, the universe is going to throw, at least for me, you see if you relate to this, the universe, God, your higher power, whatever you want to refer to it as, throws challenges in your way. It's like, are you sure you really want that? Because if you do, it's yours, but you got to go over these hurdles. And if you persevere through those challenges, you can accomplish anything that you want. I'm not too much of a motivational speaker because I like numbers and I like money and I like tracking stuff and getting results with it, what worked, what didn't, and how to improve what didn't, eliminate what didn't, and improve what did. That's my whole business model. On the other side of that, though, is that, it all starts with your conviction, your level of commitment. How committed are you? And just like, I said this on the webinar, see if I can find, see that post again by Chad where it says, I am committed now. And that's one of the things I said in the call. It's like, you're either serious and you're really wishing and praying and hoping and dreaming someday that you'll be a success that'll just fall in your lap, or you're committed and you're willing to do whatever it takes. I don't care if you buy my stuff. I don't care if you buy anybody else, whose stuff you buy or who you're mentored through. You need to really make that commitment. And one of the easiest ways to make a commitment and show the universe and your higher power or God or whatever you refer to it as, that you're willing to go out there and go that extra mile is to put some money down, right? Show that you are willing to commit. Because if you show anything less than full 100% commitment, there's too many other reasons, too many excuses, too many little things that'll get in your way, like webinars crashing a couple of times, speakers not being able to get in, and all of that stuff that would keep you from getting where you want to go. There's no reason for letting that stop you. You don't have to. Be fearless. Be unstoppable. Go out there, implement, take action, do, get results, and get where you want to go. That's the only way. There are sacks filled with results out there. Cash, recognition, fame, whatever it is you're looking for. Better communities, better family life, better lifestyle for your children. Whatever it is that you want, there's sacks filled with that stuff out there waiting for you to pick it up. You have the courage to pick it up. You have the energy, the drive, the commitment to do it. It's waiting for you. Are you ready? Great. You do? It's yours. You don't? Sorry, my friend. I got no sympathy for you. All right? So go take action. Go close. Go do it. No excuses. I got tons of stuff to do. I got a coaching session stuff that I've backed up because of taking care of this. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm going to go get it done. Go get them. Get out there, and I'll talk to you real soon. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the right. And as always, like and +1 above. Share this with folks. We did it, guys, kind of. So let's go celebrate it. Go shout it out to folks. Go share the message with folks on your Facebook page. Let them know we did it. And you did it. You're the one that voted. You're the one that went out there and did it. I can only vote once. You guys did the rest of it. So I appreciate you. I know you could have been anywhere else in the world for the last probably 30 minutes by the end of this recording. You chose to spend it here with me, and I appreciate it. Go get them. Let's get you rocking and rolling. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, one last thing. The webinar that we did is not the $10,000 webinar I did for the people who voted. I'm actually going to do that special webinar. And this actually has a silver lining. Turns out that my gal actually was on the webinar for most of it. She didn't get all of it, but she got most of it. So we're hodgepodging, piecing together. I recorded all of the audio as a backup. That was one of the smart things I did. And we are getting the slides from the other two speakers, so we're kind of Frankensteining the content together so we can get a replay for you of the webinar. So if you missed it, if you're one of those few folks, or one of the most of the folks that couldn't even get on the darn call, we're actually going to have a recording available for you guys to be able to listen to it. I'll keep you posted. And if you're interested, let me know, comment below, and let's do it, guys. Let's go out there and let's make an impact on the world. Let's change everything and make it all better. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.